Hello friends, hope you all are doing well, and I'm back with my next video. And as I had mentioned last time, today we will learn about bhavas, each house in chart from today. And before that, we will cover few other basics, a little more details on Lagna and Rashi, Rashi Tatwas, Rashi based on mobility. And this is very important for predictions to understand Rashi Tattvas, temperament, behaviors, mobility of zodiacs, Rashi signs. So absorb them well. And after that, we will look into respective Lagna lords and Tanu Bhava, which is the first house in your charts. And towards the end, we will talk about Lagna in each Rashi. So this is going to be the flow of today's video. So let's start. What is the difference between Lagna and Rashi? In last video, we learned how to identify our Lagna and how to find what is our Chandra Rashi and what is our Surya Rashi. If you haven't watched my last video, please do so that you know how to identify these from your chart. We have some really good astrologers giving predictions basis various planetary transitions on YouTube. So how will you relate it to your charts? Should you follow it from your Lagna or should you follow it from your Rashi? So what is the difference between the two? See, Lagna is the rising sign at the time of birth. It is the entry point of our life. Lagna changes every 2 hours, which means it changes sign every 2 hours, 2 hours in Aries, next 2 hours in Taurus, next 2 hours in Gemini, and so on. Hence, it is very important that you have right time of your birth and your Lagna is correct. What does Lagna signify? It helps you understand better your characteristics, your behavior, your confidence level, your social personality. Lagna tells how much strength you have to cope with the ups and downs in your life. What is one's physical stature? If your Lagna is weak, you might face challenges in life and face difficulty coping with it. But if your Lagna is strong, you will manage every hurdle well. Every Lagna has a Lagna Lord, and a strong Lagna Lord is very essential in fulfilling the potential in a chart. So you may have a good chart, but if your Lagna Lord is not strong, you will not achieve its full potential. On the other hand, what is Rashi? Rashi is a sign where your moon is situated at the time of birth. We all know how to check that. The moon remains in one sign for 2.5 days, then it moves to the next sign and so forth. Whereas sun stays in a sign for one whole month. Now, most of the people can have same moon sign or sun sign, but having same Lagna is rare. And what does Rashi represents? It represents your mind and soul. It tells us about the kind of reactions you will have in different situations and circumstances in life. So we should look at both when you're listening to the predictions, and if your predictions as per Lagna are good but as per Rashi it is not good, or vice versa, you get mixed results. And for proper predictions, there are a lot more things and planetary placements that one needs to look at in chart. But generic information you can get. Now, let's talk about houses, bhavas. We have 12 houses in our chart, and I'm displaying the Kal Purusha chart. Pause 1 second. Okay, so you will see few houses colored in purple. House number 1, 4, 7 and 10. So what does it mean? These are the foundational pillars of individuals. These are also called Vishnu sthanas, and these are considered the cardinal points in astrology. The first house or Lagna is your body, your innate nature. Fourth house is your home and mother, where your happiness lies. Seventh house is marriage and relationships, partnerships. 10th house is your position in society, your profession and your status. So these Kendra houses are in fact the main pillars of your life. And another important thing to look at is trikona or trines in a chart. The houses 1st, 5th and ninth house are called trikona or trines. These are also known as Lakshmi sthanas. It includes the self, the first house. Fifth house, wisdom and creativity, also the house of love and children. And the ninth house, dharma or righteousness, also the house of luck. Trikona houses are auspicious and provide knowledge, guidance, spiritual growth to the native. Now, planets in Kendra and Trikona give good effects, especially if you have benefic planets in these houses. There are certain houses which are growing houses where it improves with time basis the efforts you make. These are called Upchaya houses. These are third, sixth, and 10th and 11th house. The effect impact of these houses grows with time and it's directly connected to the efforts we are putting. Now there are houses like 6, 8 and 12th. These are called Dusthana houses. These are known as the houses of suffering, difficulties, obstacles. So look at these houses and their lords to find out what is causing trouble and how to do the remedy. So take a note, remember these as it will help you in reading your charts. So we will see that each of these houses from 1 to 12 fall in certain Rashi, certain zodiacs. Now we need to understand few things here as well. If you are Cancer Lagna, your second house will fall in Leo, third house in Virgo. So each house is falling in certain Rashi. It is very important that we understand what are the elements of each of these Rashis and how to decipher them for our charts. Now, basis tattvas, Rashi can be Agni Rashi, Fiery Rashi, which is a very fiery Rashi, Earthy Rashi, Airy Rashi, and Watery Rashi. So, I'm displaying the chart below for these tattvas. You can take a snapshot or a note of it. Okay. So now Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, these are Agni Rashis. These people are generally have strong emotions, they are temperamental, they're very passionate and have interesting personality. And it also represents hot and dry season. Next is our earthy signs. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. These are earthy Rashis. They're very dependable people. They are grounded. They are loyal, practical, and yes, they are the materialistic ones. It also represents dry season moving to colder season. Now, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, these are airy Rashis. These are the creative ones, full of ideas. They are adventurous. They have tendency to get excited often. And it represents wet and hot season. One tip or an example or an observation, it's your homework also. Check whenever Jupiter enters airy Rashi. Actually, you should start observing these things. So, whenever there is a major incident happening, check the planetary positions for that particular day. It will tell you a story. Whenever Jupiter enters Gemini, which is an airy Rashi, some major and air incident will happen. Jupiter is debilitated in Gemini. For example, check the chart for Malaysian air crash. It happened in, I think, March 2014. And some other plane crashes have happened in past. Check where was the Jupiter at that time. Especially if Jupiter in Gemini, something or the other will happen. So you should start checking. That's how you will develop understanding. Now, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio are watery signs. So these are sensitive, mysterious, charming kinds. It represents cold and wet season. I'll talk about these tattvas again when we talk about the first house in each Rashi. Now, each of these zodiac Rashi have certain characteristics basis the mobility, movements. And it is very important to understand these as well to predict correctly. So I'm displaying the chart. Please take a note of it and memorize. So basis mobility, movements, Rashi zodiacs are identified as Chara Rashi, which is a movable Rashi, Sthira Rashi, fixed Rashi, and Dvisvabhava Rashi, also known as dual Rashis. Now, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, these are Chara Rashis, movable Rashis. So, I will also give an example here now. Libra. Libra is a sign, have you seen the sign of Libra? It's a scales, the justice. And whenever Saturn comes to Libra, Saturn is also known as planet of karma and justice. And it's a slow moving planet. Whereas Libra is a Chara Rashi, which is a movable Rashi. So, what will happen? Whenever Saturn transits to Libra house, you will see the cause of social justice moves forward. It will be a slow progress, though, as Saturn is a slow moving planet, but it will be a methodical progress, which signifies velocity nature of planet is also important along with the Rashi element. So, be mindful of that. Now, next is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. These are Sthira Rashis. Now, you need to see which houses are in Sthira Rashi for you. So, one tip here also, while doing Muhurtas, especially for joining a new job, high preference is given to Sthira Rashi Lagna, and of course, along with other certain criterias and parameters that we check. Next is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. These are Dvisvabhava Rashi, which means these are both stable and dynamic Rashis. Okay, so now let's move to understanding what is our first house, also known as Tanu Bhava. What does our first house in a chart signify, which is also our Lagna? So, Tanu Bhava Lagna is your innate nature. It is your physical structure, your health, your complexion, your character, your self-worth, your dignity, your longevity, your beginning of life, which means early years of your life. So early of, would have your early years of life will be easy, had been easy, or they were luxury, or you had struggle, you had shortage of money, you had a hard life. So you get all this kind of information from your first house. And in relations, it tells about your Dadiji, your father's mother, and also your maternal grandfather, your Nanaji. So you get information about them, and in the body parts, your head and brain are also looked at from Tanu Bhava. So your first house is giving a lot more information. Now, most important, the planet that rules the first house, which is referred to as Lagna Lord, is of great importance. A strong Lagna Lord is essential in fulfilling the potential of your chart. A strong Lagna Lord and can mean help you deal with potential difficulties existing in your chart and vice versa. So it's very important that you understand them well. Now let's talk about Lagna Lords. If your Lagna, your first house is Aries, what does it signify? The Lord of Aries Lagna is Mars. Who's this Lord of Aries? It is Mars. So where is the Mars posited in your chart is very important. So remember to check that. If your Lagna chart is going to 6th, 8th or 12th house, that is Dusthana house, it is not considered a good sign. So if you are Aries, your Lagna is Aries, it's a fire sign, there is a lot of energy and confident, independent, it's a movable sign. These people have strong emotions, they are temperamental, quite interesting personalities. They're quite instinctive, they're quick in action. Now, Mars is also the Lord of Scorpio, and Scorpio is a Jala Rashi, which is highly instinctive, they're strong willed, they're known for their temperament, they're very ambitious and can be egoistic. So, how does Mars work in Aries and how does it work in Scorpio? Mars in Aries, fiery and movable sign, brings the fierce cardinal fire. While in Scorpio, it dives deeply, it gives intensity, as Scorpio is a fixed watery sign. So that's how you need to read. Now, if your Lagna, your first house is Taurus. The Lord for this house is Venus. So check where is your Venus placed. It will tell you about the strength of your Lagna. Taurus Lagna or Rashi, these people are detailed oriented, they're very grounded and practical. So they are the hard working types. They are quite determined and can be quite stubborn. Taurus is an earthy fixed sign. They do not like changes much and they prefer to follow routine. They're quite creative, lover of art, music. They prefer stability in life. Now, Venus is also the lord of Libra house. If your Lagna Rashi is Libra, it's an airy sign, it's a movable house. Fairness and equality is very important to them. You've seen the sign of Libra, the scales. And they're very tactful and social people. They love comforts, riches, beautiful, luxurious things. Basically, they are charmers. Venus is love and money. Venus in Taurus is slightly more on physical sensuality, whereas Libra Venus is more cerebral. So is particularly keen on balance. Now, if your Lagna is Gemini, which is an Aries sign, the lord for this house is Mercury. Now check where is your Mercury placed. Gemini, Lagna or Rashi people are quite talkative. They excel in communication, especially if their Lagna is strong and has benefic planet and free from any malefic aspect. Freedom is very important for them. It's an airy sign. You cannot contain them, tie them. They're known to be witty, fun loving. Now, Mercury is also the lord of Virgo house. Virgo ascendants, they are known to be perfectionist. It's an earthy sign, so they are grounded, they are quite practical beings, they're quite observant and have a sharp analytical mind. Now, Mercury rules communication and problem solving. So, you see how these qualities in both Gemini and Virgo people work. Each sign has a different way of expressing it, although it's have a common Lagna Lord. Gemini people are great talkers. It's more about understanding. It's all about getting to know how things and people work. That's how Mercury works for them. But for Virgo, communication is more about facilitating. What they have to say is less important than getting the information to places where it can be put to use. So Virgo can be original thinkers. Now, if your Lagna is Sagittarius, the Lagna Lord is Jupiter. It's an Agni Rashi, fiery. So these people are quite optimistic, they're free spirited. Everything is grand for them. So they are somewhat impatient and mostly enthusiastic types. So now Jupiter is also Lagna Lord for Pisces, which is a Jala Rashi. So feelings are very important for them. They're very intuitive, they're emotional, adjusting, accommodative, basically dreamer. Now, Jupiter for Sagittarius gives the native inclination towards religion, spirituality. Such people are adjusting in nature. They also indulge in charity and social service. Whereas Jupiter in Pisces, it can deepen the strength of love emotionally. So they may develop immense love and attachment with their love partner or spouse. Next, if your Lagna is Capricorn, your Lagna Lord is Saturn. It's an earthy sign. They are responsible. They're not too good at expressing themselves. Security, stability is important to them. They have very strong personality. Now, Saturn is also a lord of Aquarius Lagna, which is an Aries sign. So these are simple, have unique and peculiar interests. They're very independent but friendly, and they like to move at a fast pace. So now till now we have seen that all the Lagna signs I've spoken about had Lagna Lord common to two signs. Now Cancer Lagna, Kataka Rashi, Lord is Moon. Leo Ascendant or Simha Lagna Lord is Sun. Sun and Moon are Lagna Lord of only one Rashi respectively. Cancer Lagna, the Lord is Moon. It's a watery sign. They are very sensitive and can have a hard shell around them like crab has it. And they're very sensitive to moon phases. They get happy very quickly. They get angry also very quickly. They are selfless, adjusting. Whereas Leo Ascendant, Simha Lagna people, they're majestic people, fiery, motivated, always young at heart. And their presence is noticeable. They have high sense of authority. Although they are dominating, they have a very loving heart. And they may not take criticism easily. Their reputation is of utmost importance to them. So, while talking about Lagna and their lords, I have briefly spoken about the Karakattvas of each Rashi zodiac. So, remember these when we talk about the remaining 12 houses. Now I will talk about Lagna Lord in each house. I'm sure you must be keen to check that where is your Lagna house and what does it mean. So if your Lagna Lord is posited in Lagna itself, in your first house itself, you have your Lagna Lord, then you will have lot of focus on yourself in your life. You will be the most important person for yourself, your progress, your health, your looks. You will be very self-conscious, independent, self-motivated, self-driven person. Now if your Lagna Lord is posited in second house, your focus will be majorly on your family. Steady finances will be good. You will be a good orator provided there is no malefic aspect. For example, Gemini Lagna with Mercury in second house. Person will be a very good communicator, will be financially sound. He or she will have a supportive family. If your Lagna Lord is posited in third house, native will be courageous, maybe an entrepreneur if other planetary aspects are also supportive. And he or she will be very close to siblings. They will be very friendly to neighbors and they may have to take short journeys frequently. So, if you have any such friendly neighbor, you should know where their Lagna Lord might be sitting in which house. Now, if your Lagna Lord is posited in fourth house, the happiness for such native lies at home. They will have a lot of movable, immovable properties, provided it's not debilitated. And you will be attached to the roots, your roots, and you will like to take your family legacy forward. If your Lagna Lord is posited in fifth house, the native will be romantic, may have love marriage, and will be business minded, might be engaged in speculation business. The person will be fond of children and will be quite good in engaging with the children, in fact. So, you may want to, if you have anyone such around you, then you know the secret. If your Lagna Lord is posited in sixth house, now this is not a good placement to have. It can cause native to face health issues, deaths, lawsuits, etc. If your Lagna Lord is posited in seventh house, it signifies all partnerships will be important for native, be it marital relationship or business partnerships, and they are loyal to spouse. Lagna Lord in 8th house. Again, not a very good placement. You might be interested in mysteries, mysterious ways of life, mysteries. A native may have serious health issues and might get cheated often. Lagna Lord in 9th house. You will be religious. You will have wonderful relations with your father. You will have high morals and deep faith. Whatever you believe in, you will have a very, very deep faith. Lagna Lord in 10th house. Career, profession is very important for them. Their whole life revolves around their career and profession and they work hard for their dreams. Lagna Lord in 11th house. They gain from networking and socializing. You will have good relations with your elder siblings. In fact, this is a very good placement for material gains. Last, Lagna Lord in 12th house, not a good placement. It signifies financial setbacks, loss of self-confidence, etc. So, today I have spoken about the first house, Tanu Bhava, in all 12 zodiac. Each house, each bhava covers some areas of a life. Next video, I will talk about Dhana Bhava, second house in your chart. And I would advise the information I've shared, go through it few times, take a note, absorb it. It's not too much Rashi, Tatwas, and basis mobility also, and then some houses I've spoken about, and then Lagnas and Lagna Lords. I think you can definitely memorize, remember this. And if you have any questions, you can drop a comment. I will respond. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so that you do not miss any upcoming videos. Thank you. Namaskar.